Most of us don't say we're changing anymore. We say we're thinking about it. And then we don't say anything for a long time, which sounds reasonable and also exhausting. That hesitation feels personal, like uncertainty or caution or lack of confidence. But it didn't come from nowhere. This didn't start as a theory. One day, a friend of mine introduced me to someone who introduced themselves by handing me a business card with their personal Instagram handle on it. Apparently, this is enough. At the time, I couldn't explain why it felt so strange, only that something had moved ahead of something else. The persona arrived before the person. We live in a world where identity is unusually editable. We can revise our work, our beliefs, our look, our language, our direction. Reinvention is treated as health, staying the same as failure. People didn't suddenly start changing more than before. What changed is that identity became something that we update, a profile we manage, a version we present. And once identity is editable, the past stops feeling formative. It starts feeling awkward. Earlier versions of ourselves don't feel like steps, they feel like things to clean up. So we start presenting as if we've already arrived, as if we're done. Being visibly unfinished starts to feel like a liability. At the same time, the environments we're doing this inside changed too. They got better at remembering. Screenshots, records, search. But they didn't get better at holding context. A sentence survives without the moment that produced it. A belief survives without the uncertainty that preceded it. A version of you survives without the arc that followed. So when we change, the environment doesn't register growth. It registers inconsistency. Archives don't forget, they retrieve, which is a very efficient system, just not a very human one. Imagine being told your resume must constantly update, but every old version remains equally visible, not as history, but as current information. Every early attempt, every awkward phase, every unfinished direction. You're encouraged to improve, but never allowed to replace what came before. What caused this wasn't a shift in values. It was a shift in scale. More people, more distance, more interaction without relationship. Systems stopped relating to people as histories and started relating to them as entries. Legibility became more valuable than understanding. Consistency became easier than context, simply because it works better at scale. Understanding takes time. Archives don't. So environments optimized for what they could store efficiently, not for what they could hold generously. This puts us in a bind. We're expected to evolve, but we're punished for showing the evolution. If we change too publicly, we risk being misread. And if we don't change publicly, we risk seeming behind. If we speak from the middle, we sound uncertain. If we wait until we're sure, we arrive late. Somehow, this became the expectation. So every draft starts to feel permanent. Because we're too aware of how memory works now. The effects of this show up quietly in our relationships as well. Familiarity is how people attach over time. So when one of us revises faster than familiarity can keep up, friction appears. The people who knew us before start holding outdated information. We feel misunderstood. They feel unmoored. No one did anything wrong. The pace just outran the room. So we adapt. We don't stop changing. We just stop changing out loud. We protect drafts. We delay visibility. We wait until something feels stable enough to survive being retrieved later. Not because we're dishonest, because growth lost its intermediaries. That's the condition. Identity became editable, but environments didn't become forgiving. So if you felt careful lately, hesitant to speak in the middle of a change, uneasy about earlier versions of yourself, it's not because you're confused. It's because you're trying to grow in a room that never forgets.